Battle over Idaho's voter-approved ban on same-sex marriage went before a federal appeals court today. The lawyer defending the state of Idaho's ban faced tough questions from the three-judge panel of the Ninth Circuit in San Francisco. That's where we find On Your Side reporter Chris Oswald. Chris.
Good evening, Michelle. From a very windy San Francisco today, Idaho's case took the most time, about 90 minutes of the 2.5 hours that the judges heard testimony. And both sides of this case were passionate. Now, the biggest area of contention was over the state's argument that a same-sex couple cannot provide the nurture a child needs like a heterosexual couple. The state argument brought a lot of questions from the three judges hearing the case. They asked specifically if the state had proof of that claim. Lawyers for the four lesbian couples who are suing the state say there isn't. They told me in an interview earlier that they call this, quote, ridiculous. The idea that raising children and that our families are not as valid as heterosexual families, it's a bad thing, it's bad law, end quote. Now, Monty Stewart, the attorney for the state of Idaho and Nevada, said, quote, man-woman meaning at the core of the meaning of marriage institution generates and sustains the child bond right, which is a social expectation. Now, both cases were heard before the judges, and I'm told that we are not sure exactly when a decision will be made by the judges. They're talking over everything that they heard in court today. They'll issue a ruling sometime in the near future, but both the state and the plaintiffs say they're optimistic about what happens, and regardless of the judge's decision, they will be taking this case to the Supreme Court. Michelle?
Hey, Chris, what was the mood like since you're there right now? What was the mood like inside that courtroom?
It varied a lot. You saw tears. There was some laughing. There were some sighs from the audience here. One of the big things was three of the plaintiffs from Idaho have children or grandchildren. So when talking about not being able to nurture children or not being able to provide the sort of comfort that a heterosexual could, you saw a lot of tears coming from my right, which is where they were sitting. But you also heard laughter. Deborah Ferguson, the attorney who was defending the plaintiffs, was asked by the judges, does it matter how we rule on this case, whether that's in regards to equal protections, which is something that they're arguing, or a constitutional amendment? She said no, as long as she wins. And that was obviously brought a lot of laughter from the courtroom. So there was some mixed emotions going on, but there were also some people who were upset. We talked to some people outside who just couldn't believe what the state was saying as their defense.
All right, Chris. Well, we appreciate you being live in San Francisco, bringing us the very latest. More tonight.